Welcome to the 7th episode of Your Time in the Run, the Hunted Series 8 podcast from Reality TV Warriors. My name is Michael Armstrong, and joining me as always are my favourite pair of bumbling losers, my fellow Brit who podcasts with us to burn off the pan au chocolat, Anthony Williams.
Hello.
And the lady whose family New South Wales Police has trapped like rats, Michelle Pearce-Donovan.
Hello.
Good morning. Good weeks?
Good evening.
Yeah, good week, busy week. I'm looking forward to a day off in a few days' time. Well, an evening off, not even a day off.
How's your week been, Michelle?
Not much happened. Actually, yes. I've just remembered. I got a phone call this week to say I'd been invited to the TikTok Awards in Sydney. So I've got to get frocked up again.
I forgot to ask as well, how did your sports day go with the useless PE teacher?
It was cancelled because it was raining, but it's coming up in 2 more days or 3 more
excellent.
days. It's so excellent. Is it going to rain again?
Yeah, we can ask you about it for the finale then.
Finale, yeah.
And Wednesday just gone was Van's first birthday, so he got a celebration of everyone putting fireworks on for him.
Did he enjoy that, or was he cowering under a couch?
He doesn't hate fireworks. He's just kind of wary of them. He's very, very nosy. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're walking down the side of a road, he'll go for cars, but only because he wants to say hello to them. That sort of thing. So, yeah, he sort of likes the pretty colours. He doesn't really like the noises, I think is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But he's not as scared of that as he is of the little remote control mouse thing that my parents bought him for his birthday.
Oh, cute.
He loved the toy that I bought him. He does not love the toy that my parents bought him, which is all that matters. Still his favourite uncle. Anyway, previously the final 7 reached the final week as the hunters got their first glimpse of friends and escape artists Steve and Chris in Manchester. A narrow escape at a travel lodge saw them return to their home network, which proved to be their undoing as they were caught while enjoying a lemonade at Chris's brother-in-law's house. Sean and Marie returned home but had a narrow escape as hunters had booby-trapped their neighbour's home, while Shaq relaxed in a hot tub, but it was farmer friends Andrew and Robin who tried to maximise their chances by splitting up, not realising they had exactly the same plan to head to Birmingham, and Robin's taunting of the hunters led them to be not far behind. I'm going to skip ahead slightly because I'm very confused about Robin's capture in this episode.
Okay.
Yes.
Like, we will get to this, obviously, but I was just sat there on Sunday, baffled. He just gave up.
Mm.
I think he was just tired out. There's only so far
Yeah.
you can keep running, isn't there?
Yeah, but he was ahead. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know, but you can't do it indefinitely. But for JP jumping on the scooter was absolutely the highlight of the show for me.
Oh,
Yes.
I don't know whether you guys have looked on Twitter yet, but there were so many people just going, he can't commandeer a scooter, that's cheating.
Oh,
yeah.
you can.
It was convenient there was a guy with a scooter going past. It's like, yeah, but he probably off-air offered him 50 quid.
Yeah. And there are people riding around scooters in city centres all over the place these days, so yeah.
There are, but presumably the hunters have some sort of discretionary amount where they can go, yeah, lend me that scooter and I'll give you 50 quid, mate. That's all it was. They just didn't put that in the episode because people would have complained.
It was fun. It was a great capture.
It was. And a ridiculous capture at that, but we'll get to it. So Alpha arrive at Southampton Station as Andrew and Robin's train departs. Andrew has at least changed out of the bucket hat at this point.
Master of disguise.
And the train has an awful lot of stops, so it's a spectacular choice from both of them. Ray looks for facial recognition opportunities along all the stations and says that neither of them have been good enough to win this.
Yeah, that was the point where I was like, oh, hang on. Because little aside, when I was doing my research last week, I stumbled across the Radio Times synopsis for episode 8. So I thought in my mind I knew exactly what was going to happen. And then that line was like, oh, maybe what I think is going to happen isn't going to happen.
Yeah, I knew, because of the Radio Times synopsis again, that it was only going to be 3 people going into the finale, but it didn't say who.
No, so my assumption was Shaq and the Farmers.
Yeah. So, in Reading, Sean refuses to wear a top, and they're at a B&B, and they are stronger together than apart, and she says he has a mean face, but he's a big softie.
Oh.
They lost their belongings in Bristol with the close shave, so head towards friends in Liverpool, getting on a train.
A lot of train action this episode.
There is. And George says that they were very close and have no kit. They're going to need to resupply with associates. And they get off the train in Birmingham New Street as they can't afford the ticket to Liverpool. And India gets a positive hit 2 minutes later on the facial recognition. And Bravo are in the area.
Of course they are.
We get a little come on, but it's not Danny level. It's disappointing.
I was wondering about the timeline on this because at this point, I was wondering if that ping was right near the dead drop. Because I think Bravo might have been one of the teams involved in the dead drop hunt.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to figure it out. I think the only thing I could sort of figure out is that Robin at New Street and them at New Street was not the same day. That's it. That's all I've got.
Because there's also a lot of Birmingham action in this episode. Given that we basically knew that someone was going to get chased through the centre of Birmingham, we just didn't know who. And then Sean and Marie appear at Birmingham, and you go, "Huh, interesting. Maybe it's them then." Unfortunately, not. An intelligence officer, Sam, gets CCTV of them heading towards the coach station in Birmingham. And the next bus is at 2 p.m, and HQ get the CCTV of them entering the coach station. Did you spot the monkeying with the timeline in this whole scene?
No.
Because there was a lot of it.
Not specifically, no.
So there's one point where they ask at the information desk, when's the next bus? And he's like, oh yeah, it's 2 p.m. And then the B-roll cuts to the screen of the next departures and it says 2:46 p.m. on it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there is not a chance in hell that those two things were filmed at the same time. I suspect that B-roll was probably taken by Team Bravo's cameraman.
Yeah, when they eventually got there, which is a considerable amount of time later.
Yeah.
Because if it's not close enough for them to wait, then yeah, it's a while, isn't it?
And the next bus out of there is Bristol, which they don't want. And Bravo split up, and Mel heads towards the back as there is another entrance. Sean and Marie say they would have had to wait too long, but they are wearing GoPros, which is a red flag for any fugitive when your camera person says, yeah, just put this GoPro on.
Mm-hmm.
Put on your harness.
But why? Oh, just put it on, just in case.
Don't worry.
In case. Yeah.
It's all fine.
Don't worry about it. But you know, if you could wear this GoPro harness and I'll just hide in a hotel room for the next hour, that'd be fine.
I just might stand back a while.
And they decide to hitchhike, and Bravo strike out at the station. Veronica gets information from the National Express man about them going to Liverpool, and then the screen says 2:23 p.m. Again, loads of monkeying with the timeline in this. And Sean and Marie get a lift towards Liverpool as India looks for a connection to the area, and she finds a connection to Ian and Jenny, who are camping friends of Sean and Marie's. And Terminator Craig and Welsh Paul are sent to chat to Ian and Jenny with the prerequisite Volvo wheel spin. Andrew and Robin had separate plans, but ended up on the same train. Frampo asked to do a message on a tannoy. They like to go into a situation and dominate, and he sends Robin a good luck message from another bit of the train.
How nice is that? I love it.
It's cute.
I just love them both.
Oh, they were so good. So good.
Yeah, I think not to spoil episode 8 too much, because obviously we've all seen it, we can say this. I think Frampo might be the highlight of episode 8 for me as well.
Oh, he's brilliant. He's great at.
There's a particular moment where I just started laughing my head off, and you probably know which one it is. So Abby gets CCTV and facial recognition for Andrew and Robin. Dr. Ashley would expect them to get off at the rural stations, but there aren't any on this train route. Birmingham feels like a good choice. It gives them a lot of options. And the good thing for HQ is that they've got lots of hunters nearby, and Team Golf are sent to New Street. Frampo says they're trapped like rats. He's going to get off a stop early at Birmingham International and find somewhere to hide in Birmingham tonight, and he grabs a taxi.
With his wig that lasts about 10 seconds.
Yeah, but not the bucket hat this time. He's not drawing attention to himself.
No, very good. Well done.
And India gets the ping of Andrew getting off the train at Birmingham International at 4:07 p.m, and it's only Andrew. And they stick to the plan and wait for Robin at New Street.
And Andrew thinks he sees the ground hunters from his cab. Do you think he really did?
Nah, I just think it was a similar vehicle.
Yeah.
So I think this was probably about day 18 from the context that we can get at. I think Frampo was on his own for sort of 2-3 days maybe. I think at that point in the hunt, you're paranoid of every car you see.
Yeah.
I think if you are 2.5 weeks into being on the run, any Volvo you see, any big black car, you go, shit, have I let myself go here?
I wonder how many of the past fugitives actually are affected by black Volvos now.
PTSD and
Yeah.
Volvos.
Yeah. I wonder.
I mean, all jokes aside, I think probably the past fugitives that we have who listen to this podcast will tell you there will still be a pang of, oh shit, there's a black Volvo occasionally.
Yeah. Definitely.
Because it's such a sort of stressful environment that I think they probably do have a little bit of PTSD towards big black cars and big black Volvos in particular.
Yeah.
Especially if it's someone like Shaq, where they're constantly getting close every time and he's just narrowly escaping. Because, like, Andrew and Robin probably don't necessarily, because they haven't seen the Hunters in 2.5 weeks.
Well, exactly.
They're wary of big black Volvos, but, you know, they've not actually seen any of the Hunters in real life at this point. So to avoid speaking to anyone, the Hunters have to do a long follow, let him get off the train and go through the barriers and then capture. However, Robin's extremely fit and plays a lot of sport, so he's likely to run, and they wait around platform 5. I have, unfortunately, been to Birmingham New Street Station a fair few times. This would have been an absolute nightmare for the Hunters.
Oh god, it's so complicated, isn't it? There's like exits everywhere. There's loads of people, the platforms. Yeah, not easy.
And there is not a chance in hell that if the Hunters sprinted after a fugitive in New Street, that they wouldn't get themselves arrested. It's one of the biggest stations in the country, Michelle. It's attached to a big shopping centre as well. Like, it's just an absolute nightmare for the Hunters to capture anyone here.
Oh, and it still happened.
Well, my suspicion is that Robin was also told he couldn't run in New Street. He was wearing his GoPro by that point, so I think he probably knew the Hunters were at least close by.
Why did they want him to go outside?
Because at least then they can film and sprint around.
Yeah.
In New Street, it would cause a massive disruption if they're sprinting after him, getting in the way of commuters, that sort of thing.
But isn't that where he was? He went out to the street, and that's where they had to get him.
No, so Birmingham New Street is the station, just to be confusing.
Yeah,
The street is also, I think, called New Street.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, but New Street Station is where he got off. It's the big station in Birmingham, which is attached to the shopping centre a lot.
Yes. I just thought it was really weird. Well, they could have caught him in the station, but they were waiting till he got to the door. I wondered if there was something ulterior about that, but obviously.
Yeah, I think, like Michael said, it would just cause such a major disruption and incident, and people would be freaking out. And you know, people are on high alert all the time, aren't they? Especially at transport hubs. So you see someone wearing black with body cams running, they're not going to assume it's a television program. Let's put it that way.
No.
Yeah.
And I wonder whether it had something to do with filming permits as well.
Yeah,
maybe. It would be very difficult for them to get a proper filming permit in New Street, as opposed to just being able to film on the street where they wouldn't need permission, necessarily. So, the train arrives, and JP seems to be in front of some sort of person dressed as a Simpson. Did you spot that in the background? Someone's just got yellow body paint on, I think.
Yeah.
I only watched this once, but when JP's waiting at platform 5, someone does seem to have painted themselves yellow behind him. And it can't be for AnimeCon necessarily, because that was days before. JP then gets eyes on Robin, and he's heading towards the bull ring. Robin clocks him as he exits, and he runs as soon as he's outside the station. And Avi tells JP to burn off those pan au chocolat. He gets in a taxi, and then JP orders him out. HQ prematurely celebrates as he sprints out again.
It's so funny. I think Robin knows it's over, though. He drops his bag, so... You know, it's a real last-ditch attempt, this is, isn't it?
It is, but they've already established that he's training for an Ironman. The dude can run a marathon if he's doing an Ironman. After doing, 2.5 mile swim and 70 or 100 mile bike ride, I think it is. Something insane like that. I think it's 100. Like, the dude's very fit if he's training for an Ironman. He just kind of shrugs and gives up in a doorway. And I get that he's probably gassed out by that point, but find somewhere to hide. Don't, quote unquote, hide in the doorway of a calf. as he does. Just going, yeah, you got me, I guess. It just, after 6.5 episodes of seeing them be very, 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 very good at this, it's just a bit of a damp squiff ending for Robin. Because he just kind of shrugs and gives up. Or that's what we see.
Yeah, I think there was an air of inevitability. As soon as he saw someone at the station, he's like, where am I going to go? You know, we've said this before. By the time you see a hunter, you're already done, right? It's game over.
Yeah, I think if he had got himself into a taxi proper, he would have been away. They might have got his bag,
Yeah.
but I think that probably was the best tactic, is just find an alleyway, find a way to get to a taxi, and get the hell out of there.
Yep.
And I think he just kind of gave up a little bit. And no criticism with that, but after such an impressive 6.5 episode run, and I mean, it's the first time we've ever been talking about an episode 7 for the UK one.
Yeah.
It just feels like a very anticlimactic ending for him.
Yeah, you know, JP was a scooter boy. He said, see you later, boy.
He said, see you later, boy. I think you're fine.
I'm impressed.
So they need Pembe to cut him off. She gets the vehicle. JP borrows a lime scooter, which again feels like cheating. And Robin just weirdly gives up in the doorway, and his time on the run is over. And Ray says that he had a good run for his money, and he has every faith in Andrew.
I had really good vibes at this stage for Frampo.
Yeah, so do I.
Really good.
Yeah.
No spoilers for next episode, but
No.
you know, again, interesting.
Yeah. There's life in the old dog.
Yeah. Any thoughts on Robin, Michelle?
He should have run more. I don't understand. Why did he get out of the cab as well? Just because they tell you to get out of a cab doesn't mean you get out of a cab.
Well,
What?
this kind of plays into something that I'll mention in episode 8, but I think there might have been a rule this year that if a hunter gets to your car and tells you to get out, you've got to.
I mean, what was he going to do? The cab driver's not going to run him over, is he?
No. But I think especially having seen episode 8 as well, where something similar may or may not happen, I think there may have been a rule that if the hunters catch up to your car, you've got to get out. Whether you then do what Robin did and sprint out afterwards is another story, but I think it's a great tactic for him to just sit in the back seat of a cab for a minute and get his breath back, though.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I will give him credit for that. Like, even if it was just I just need a breather thing, like, that's genuinely a very good tactic.
I was quite impressed that he got out and sprinted away. Like, the hunter should have been right there with the door next to him, and it didn't matter. He was gone.
So, HQ then refocused on Shaq. They thought he was a class clown, but he's very smart. He's massive on trust and loyalty, and he will feel safest in Croydon, unlike most people. He's in Enfield picking strawberries, and he's taking his braids out, which, again, is going to cause real continuity issues in the next episode. Being on the run has taught him loads. He's built and made relationships with strangers. And if this wasn't a massive neon sign that he's going to get to the end, I don't know why.
I don't know what is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
As much as we're trying not to spoil the ending of this series, if you don't know Shaq's going to make it to the end by this point.
Yeah, you're not watching the same
doing very
shows.
well. Michael, you cannot watch shows in advance because you are very bad at doing the podcast and not giving away to the next episode. I've noticed now you've said something like 3 times. You need to reel yourself back in, love. You keep doing it. Stop it.
Michelle, you have not listened to Bit of Historians if you think that I spoil things prematurely.
Well, if you do something that's 10 years old, okay, but this is literally a week old and you can't do it.
I am very, very good on Bit of Historians of not spoiling future things, despite Logan's complete idiocy when he suspects people. And I say that with the most amount of love if he ever listens to this, but he is terrible at suspicions on Historians at the moment. Spoilers for next year's one.
In his defense, Michelle, when I watched this live, I was like, yeah, we've been right about Shaq most of the way through this.
Yeah, even if I hadn't watched episode 8, I would have still been going at that scene. Yeah, Shaq's winning, isn't he? There's not a chance.
Yes.
So he's in Enfield picking strawberries, as I said. Terminator Craig and Welsh Paul head to the Penningtons, and they are not home. They ask next door, and it's a negative, but Craig places a sentry cam. And Sean and Marie are hitching a ride with new associate Joe, and they are 10 minutes away. They don't want to visit the Penningtons' home, but visit Jenny's salon instead. And she's left them a note saying her doorbell has been going nuts, and she suspects that the hunters have planted something.
And finally, we get a piece of surveillance that helps the fugitives.
Yes.
All the time we've been going, it's always helped the hunters, and now a Ring doorbell has helped a fugitive. Hurrah!
No, this show is completely fake, and it's biased towards the hunters, even though, they've only won one civilian series. I mean, it's just such a fake, terrible program at this point. You guys need to look at the Twitter. They were so irritating me. I know you know what I said at the end, but they were just getting on my tits.
It was still. I've basically stopped now.
The best thing about that tweet that I sent out was the fact that Dr. Ashley actually liked it. It's like, yeah, at least I got the hunters on side. So Sean and Marie head off, and they don't know what they're going to do. And they head to Chester and lay low at Joe's house. They are gutted, they cannot contact anyone, and they can't make any mistakes, and they don't have any money. And Marie suggests that they split to make it more complicated for the hunters to catch them. She's going to head north, and he is going to head south.
I find it a bit odd that it was Marie's suggestion, having had all the footage of I can't do this on my own, Sean's my rock, I'd be completely lost. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, she's like, yeah, I think we should split up.
Do you think that at some point there is a suggestion of splitting?
What, you think they suggested it earlier?
Yeah, I'm thinking from an Andrew and Robin point of view as well, because their split came quite abruptly as well. Not to the same extent as Sean and Marie, because we didn't have 5 episodes of I can't do this without him. But theirs felt very, oh yeah, let's just split then. And then it comes out of the blue with Sean and Marie as well.
Yeah, it did seem odd. We've definitely had more than we've ever seen before. And I don't know, maybe it was just a little word in their ear. It might be quite interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's the smartest thing to do when you're near the end, so that one of you can at least win the money.
Yeah, I wonder whether I'm not sure whether it's an actual rule that, yeah, you've got to consider splitting by day 18 or whatever. But it may just be that people have cottoned on to it being the best tactic.
Yeah.
And going, actually, yeah, if people split up, it makes the hunters' lives harder and we've got a better chance of winning than if we stick together.
And we know that, off air and out of hours, they build a relationship with their camera operator, don't they? So it could be that they have a little conversation, production talks to the camera, and they're like, hey, look, getting near the end. Have you thought about this? What are your plans? Are you going to stick together? Are you going to split? And just sort of plant the idea. That wouldn't be difficult, would it?
Yeah. Because it is better for one of you to win than neither of you to win.
Absolutely. And, as soon as the extraction point becomes clear, then two of you heading towards it is just more obvious, isn't it?
Yeah. I know we'll get into this next episode, but I do wonder about the logistics of, say, Andrew and Robin sticking together and getting the extraction details. Would they both have had to go home? It's not so bad with Sean and Marie, because obviously they live in the same place, but Andrew and Robin definitely don't.
Interesting.
But we'll talk about that next week. So he says pre-hunt that she's very organised and he just leaves her to it. He manages to get a lift out of Chester and gets dropped off at Heald Green Station. New associate Anna books a ticket on her phone for him, and Sam gets the ping because he used his card. HQ can track both the phone and that ticket.
Oops.
Yeah, at this point, I think it's rip, Sean. Even though he does get caught anyway, I think the writing was slightly on the wall for him here.
Yeah. They're starting to close in, aren't they?
Sam gets the ANPR ping, and they're just south of the M56, and Delta are sent to intercept him. Marie then uses an ATM, and HQ realise that they've split, and Abby is very frustrated at it. Sean gets off at Hill Green, and Sam gets the ping, and it's about 11:40 a.m. going off of Steve's watch. Because they've not blurred that. I know we've worked out the timeline now, so I shouldn't care as much as I do, but, you still didn't blur the watch. And Sean's wearing a GoPro at 12:09 p.m. Again, red flag, you get on a train wearing a GoPro, Sean. You know that they're not far behind. And he's getting on the 12:11 train, and the hunters are 2 minutes out. Delta then get on the platform, and Sean sprints out. They pursue him, and he hides in the bushes again. He hides in a housing estate, but they lose him. He says his MO is to hide in bushes and trees, so they look at them too. There is a disused building. Sean can hear Mark talking and looking at the grass that he trod. Mark then looks around the corner. Sean's time at the run's over. This is an episode of very underwhelming captures.
It is a very
Yes, he's
underwhelming
just
capture.
standing there. Like, just standing. So weird.
Although nice to see Mark getting a capture.
Yeah.
And as I noticed this week, he's retired from the police, so good luck to Mark in whatever you do next.
Yeah. Mark used to be a deputy, didn't he?
Hmm.
I've clocked this. He's the only deputy who's ever gone back into the Ground Hunters.
Mm-hmm. He's great. He's a brilliant ground hunter. That's what he should be.
And Sean says he ain't going to tell him nothing, and they're wasting their breath.
He can tell you nothing, bruv.
And I also don't think there was a single scene of him in this entire series where he did not have a vape in his hand.
No.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
again, he did in this one.
Mhm.
Ray says Andrew has become somewhat irritating, all the charm of a prostate exam.
What a great line.
And he got off the train yesterday and into a taxi, and they lost the taxi after that. And they say Robin was athletic, Andrew won't present as much of a threat. And he has spent the night at a hotel in Birmingham and slept really well, because it's a Wetherspoons one.
Yeah, he knows how to live it up.
I'm annoyed that they confirmed it was a Wetherspoons one at the end of this episode, because I clocked that it was a Wetherspoons one from the menus. Now it's so close to the end, he wants to prove that he's not an UR farmer and has a lot more to prove than that.
Yep, love it. Puts his mirror shades on so he can fit in with the crew in West Side, Birmingham.
I know we talk about Hunted All-Stars and all that, but I would quite like to see Frampo and Robin back.
Oh, God, yes. Yes.
I think they're full of personality. So last night he borrowed a phone to call his niece's husband, who got up at 4 a.m. to drive him back. He's changed his look by changing his shirt and fitting in, wearing his hat backwards.
Nailed it.
He says he wants to send a social media message to his family to tell him that he's thinking of them, which makes this June the 20th, because the tweet's still up. And I did spot it when Frampo followed us on Twitter.
Fantastic.
So I knew that he made it this far.
So 3 days out.
Yeah, so Robin got caught on the 19th, which would have been, what, day 17?
Mm-hmm.
So he borrows a phone to send a tweet. The family have picked up the slack with him being on the run, so he wants to tell them he's thinking of them. It'll probably ping his location, but hopefully it'll take them some time. And HQ obviously immediately get the ping, and they want to find the location. And Louise traces the IP address, which is pinging in Birmingham. And Ray asks for CCTV.
You know what? Why aren't they using their brains here? You make a video, you send it to someone down at Southampton to post, tagging Hunter's headquarters.
I think this may have been him fulfilling the rules.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do too.
Annoying.
I mean, obviously we've never had the exact confirmation of the rules,
Yes.
but my suspicion is there has to be some sort of direct taunting of the hunters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but can't you taunt them? You're directly taunting them.
Yeah, but it'll be very carefully worded that it can't be done by an associate on your behalf or something. You have to do it at least once on your own behalf.
Mm.
It'll be something like that.
Then what you could have done is given someone else your login details to Twitter or Insta, and they could still do it, and the hunters wouldn't know any better.
Yeah, but production would.
I'll figure a way around this.
Yeah, if you compare it to like Robin's video or Robin's picture last week, he did that himself on his own account. He just logged into a stranger's phone for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would fulfill it, whereas if Frampo had done a video and sent it to someone in the Highlands of Scotland to post for him, I don't think that would have fulfilled the brief.
Hmm.
It does raise an interest. I think you're right, Michael. I think there is something about that, but it's interesting. Does that therefore mean that because they've split, they both have to do it then?
Good
I
question.
would presume so.
Mm.
If they hadn't done it by the point of splitting, yeah, I presume so.
Because I guess the Robin post at the pub would count for him.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking, because almost immediately after they quote unquote split and then didn't split in the end, Robin did that presumably to fulfill his obligations. Yes, obviously it's covered in, oh yeah, I want to taunt the hunters and make them not know that we've split and all that sort of stuff that he actually said on the episode. But I think in the back of his mind, it's like, shit, we've not done this. We probably have to do this now before it gets a bit too close.
Mm.
Because I suspect there will be a time limit on it, because they probably have to get all that stuff done before extraction details come out, which is, at this point, 2 or 3 days.
And I think to your point, Michelle, the only way you get away with it is you have to, I guess, pre-take the photo somewhere and then post it while you're on the move, like if you're on a train or in a car or something like that. So when they do get the GPS, you're only there for a minute. That would be the only way I could think you could maybe throw them off the scent.
Yeah, but also, as we well know, the GPS does not necessarily come from the genuine sources.
No, that's true.
The GPS that they would get from it wouldn't necessarily be the GPS of where it was posted, unless it's static like Frampo in Birmingham. So he gets a lift from Ed, who's driving him back to Dorset. India gets the CCTV of him getting into the car, and it's registered to his niece. And Ashley finds out she's his niece, and he's heading back towards his network. Do you think that he's heading back towards Dorset because this isn't necessarily that far away from the extraction info? Do you think that maybe he was told he needs to start heading back towards home to get his extraction info, and this is why he's heading back towards the family network?
Maybe. I mean,
possibly.
it's silly if he's doing it without being told to. Like, why would you do it?
Because he would have been, what, a day away from extraction info, I think, if my maths is right. No, 2 days. 2 days away from extraction info.
So why would you put yourself in danger unless you'd been told you had to go that way?
Yeah, but it's an odd route if he isn't going back towards home because of the extraction info, because he's headed from Southampton on the south coast, past Dorset to go to Birmingham, then back towards Dorset. And as we said last week, if you're going to be heading towards an extraction, you probably want to be as centrally located as possible, unless you know you're going to need to go back to your home network.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Normally, you would just kind of try and stay somewhere near Birmingham because it's easier to get to wherever the extraction location's going to be than if you're on one of the extremes. But if he's told, yeah, you probably need to consider heading towards your home just in case, there's any extraction info there, or if they get a tip off that, yeah, your extraction info is going to be waiting for you on day 20 at your own home, then I think that probably explains why he wants to head towards Dorset.
Assuming that everything in the timeline is happening the way you think it is.
Well, we know for a fact that this was June 20th, because that's when he sent the tweet. That tweet is still up. That is a concrete day in day and time.
Yeah, but do we know for 100% certain when they were given the extraction? You need to be at your home for extraction.
Well, we know the extraction info is always a day or two beforehand.
Is it though?
That's what we were always told.
Yeah. I don't know. Who knows?
I don't think it has been any earlier than 48 hours beforehand. Because usually the lower third says 48 hours to go till extraction. Right, the fugitives are all getting extraction info. We need to book it down.
I don't think I mentioned it this time, but for some reason, you're absolutely right. He's gone Southampton to Birmingham and then pretty much double backed on himself almost immediately. Something has told him he's got to go back home, even if it's just instinct.
Yeah, the timeline would line up if he's going back towards Dorset on June 20th. Extraction day would have been June 23rd, so he probably would have got his extraction info June 21st.
Mm-hmm.
So that would line up with that move back towards Dorset, because otherwise it makes no sense. And I know Frampo listens, so I'm sure he will send us a message of some description when he's allowed to. But it would make no sense if he's not heading towards home because of the extraction info, I would say. I do have a real problem with that extraction info, by the way, but we'll get to that next week. It really irritated me.
Oh, good. You're irritated for next time as well. This is good.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't like the way they gave him the extraction info. It had a fun consequence, but I don't like the way they did it. So India gets ANPR and it's pinging towards Cheltenham. Andrew looks for a place to sit tight and keep an eye on the hunters, and Ed drops him off at his friend JP's farm. He says it's nice to be back milking, but he doesn't want to be pissed on.
He's not going to be pissed on, but he might be pissed off.
Correct. Oh, God. I was thinking that as soon as Michael said it. I'm like, you said it.
Professional comedian, that's all we have to say.
Yep.
And Alpha are lying in wait at Ed's home address and block him in. Ed's great at lying, but unfortunately, he's left Frampo's stuff in his boots, and Charlotte has swatted the camping gear. And unfortunately, that also includes his cash and his precious disguises.
Why Frampo? This does disappoint me, right? I think Frampo's been very, very good, but I get all the camping gear. That makes perfect sense. But you shouldn't be anywhere without your notebook and some money, because if you do need to ditch stuff, you've got to get away.
Yeah, because we've seen it in the past with extraction info. Someone writes something down, they then get immediately caught, and it leads the hunters towards a clean sweep.
Yeah, and you can put that in your pockets. You don't need to have a backpack. You don't need to have anything. Have some cash. Have your notes. Any contact details of any people that you've ever spoken to should be on you at all times.
Yep.
I think it's unfortunately a slight bit of overconfidence.
Yeah.
Because Dorset is a brilliant place for them to go unhunted. Because everyone thinks of the Scottish Highlands, there's no CCTV, all that sort of stuff. And nobody really went to the Highlands this year, for that matter.
No.
But nobody really thinks about, like, the West Country and proper rural England as well, where there is just as little CCTV. You could go miles and miles and miles in somewhere like Dorset without seeing a single CCTV camera, without them getting any ANPR pings. And HQ cannot replicate that.
No.
That's the thing. HQ cannot accidentally find an ANPR camera or whatever. So it's a brilliant place for him to hide. So I get the confidence there. The problem is, if the hunters have a suspicion that you're heading towards your home network, or anywhere near home, when that has been such a big theme this series of don't go home because the hunters will know about it because they love a sentry cam this time, it's a little bit overconfident, unfortunately. And I love Frampo. I don't want to criticize it, but it did stink a little bit of overconfidence for me.
Yeah.
HQ then identified Bourne Farm as a potential stop, which is the farm where Andrew's hiding. And Alpha head to Bourne Farm, but unfortunately for Charlotte, there is a tractor in the way, and she gets herself a banner by really making me laugh how pissed off she is.
It was wonderful.
She was seething. Ed tells Andrew that the ice cream is hot and they have been compromised, and the episode ends as non-Welsh Paul gets eyes on and Ray says that he can't run.
Great cliffhanger.
Yes. I love the whole tractor in the way. It's very, one of those spy shows that you see racing through Europe, and all of a sudden in the middle of a street is a truck. I thought, it's just too good.
Yeah.
It's comedy genius. Just, yeah, we've almost got him. But there's a tractor in the way. We're never going to catch him anymore.
Yeah. So good.
Getting into a slight criticism I am going to have after we finish talking about episode 8. I hate that the trailer for this episode had the quad bike scene in and it never appeared.
Yeah, I'm with you there. If you're going to trail it, it has to be in the next episode. Otherwise, you give too much away.
It's not the first time as well. That's the thing, because the dead drop appeared in the episode 3 one, when it didn't actually appear till episode 4.
I think the only exception to that is you can do it in episode 1, because we know there's this is a whole season, a series thing.
Yeah, I wonder whether this series was extended after they'd filmed it and after they'd edited it.
What do you mean?
So it's normally 6 episodes, isn't it?
Oh, right. Okay.
This is the first time it's been 8.
Yes.
And I wonder whether they cut those next time trailers, assuming it was going to be 6. Maybe not for this one, obviously, for episode 7, because there wasn't an episode 7. But in regards to the episode 3 one, I wonder whether that was cut before the actual episode was. And it's like, oh, we've actually got 8 episodes this year, guys. Let's just, shift that one to episode 3. And nobody spotted that the dead drop was in there too. Because that did spoil who didn't make it to the dead drop. That's the key thing. It spoiled the episode 3 capture because Emma and Jenny were never seen getting the dead drop information, whereas everyone else was in that trailer. So it's a rare bit of sloppiness from the edit, that. But also, this is the second time it's happened now, because we have a scene of someone escaping on a quad bike, and, that doesn't play into this episode, it plays into episode 8. In a delightful way, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a rare bit of sloppiness that I do have to draw attention to, because once is kind of fine, that's just, that's just an accident, but twice is a bit sloppy for this show, which is usually very tightly edited and very cleverly edited.
It is, and mostly has been. And I was reflecting on this. I think episodes 7 and 8 of this series have been 2 of the best episodes we've had in a long, long time.
Yeah, they're both spectacular.
Yeah,
Because
brilliant.
I was sat there on the couch on Sunday just going, why would you just give up, Robin? You just kind of shrugged and went, yeah, you got me.
Yeah, I really, really. I know we all love this show, but I thought
Yeah.
7 and 8 just head and shoulders outstanding episodes.
Yeah. Did you cry at episode 8, Michelle, just out of interest?
No. Oh, no, because I was still seething from earlier on in episode 8.
Okay, fair enough. I
Several
was just wondering,
times.
that's usually our gauge of how good a finale is whether Michelle gets a bit teary.
No, you see, I couldn't do the teary because I was still seething.
Okay.
I was still up there.
I'm looking forward to the next episode then. We got anything else to say about this episode?
No, I'll go good.
No. As I say, it really made me smile because I thought I'd spoilt myself by seeing the Radio Times synopsis for episode 8, and so by the end of this, I was like, "Yes, get in." I was wrong. This is so cool.
Yeah, I was spending most of episode 7 going, right, who's going to be the 3? Because surely it's not Sean and Marie. Surely it's going to be Shaq and the farmers. And then Robin gets caught and I go, okay, so at least one of Sean and Marie makes it. What? Maybe it's going to be Frampo and Sean and Marie then. What the hell? How's Shaq going to get caught?
Yeah. And are we in unprecedented times here that we've got a final episode with 3 fugitives, all of whom have split from their partner?
Yeah, I can't think. Well, this is what I was getting at with the talking about splitting early in the episode. I can't remember having. Well, I mean, Shaq and Warren didn't really split.
Well, you know what I mean. Yeah.
But yeah, I can't think of another time where we've had 2 splits get into the final 3.
I don't think we've ever had the final 3 or the finalists all being on their own.
No, because even when it's been like the 4-person finals where Rob won, they split it, but the other couple didn't, and they all got to the end together. Yeah, so.
Interesting.
So, thank you for listening to our Hunted recap. We'll be back this time next week to recap the final episode. Don't forget you can contact us on pretty much every social media platform that isn't TikTok, where we are TV Warriors, but Michelle is going to the TikTok Awards. Or you can email us at contact@rtvwarriors.com. Anthony's on the arse, formerly known as Twitter at Bullsboy. Michelle's Bear 3, and I'm MJ Harmstone. We'll see you next week for the finale, but for this week, your time on the run is over.
Bye-bye.
Bye.